안녕하세요. Greetings from a section of Ellicott City known as Maryland's Koreatown. I am going to be exploring some of the restaurants, bakeries, grocery stores, and other Korean businesses in this area.
In this video, we'll eat our way through Maryland's Koreatown, from popular street food snacks to Korean barbecue, where we'll enjoy different cuts of meat grilled at the table before moving on to a hot pot experience where we'll enjoy more meat and some seafood before moving on to sweets. We'll enjoy mochi donuts, as well as some soft serve ice cream before moving on to a Korean classic known as bingsu. We'll also enjoy some nightlife and do some indoor golf. So come along, let's explore Ellicott City, Maryland.
Chosunhwaro is one of several Korean barbecue places in Ellicott City, Maryland. This is my first time visiting, and I had no idea that this is Maryland's Koreatown. It's not in the DC suburbs, it's not in Baltimore. We're less than 30 minutes from Baltimore, an hour from DC, and this area, especially the Baltimore Pike, is just lined with Korean businesses.
Jon, 모듬전 is ready. And here there's a kimchi pancake, seafood pancake, and beef pancake, shrimp pancake, and the crab, fake crab cake.
Leave a comment, I'm very curious, which one of these would you like to try? For me, I think I'm going to start off with the shrimp. This is the beef pancake, real simple, 2 ingredients, egg and beef. And this is the seafood pancake. It looks like there's shrimp and imitation crab in it. Oyster pancakes are not included in the combo, but I wanted to try those as well. You can see the oyster in here. So I was thinking the seafood would be my favorite, but I'm going to say I'm partial to the oyster.
The pan, and looks like it's ready. So I'm going to put first beef, brisket point. 소고기, yes. 차돌박이 is Korean name. So brisket here. So you mix wasabi and dipping the meat.
감사합니다. So this is the thinly sliced brisket. This is the first sogogi that they made for us. The brisket is very thinly sliced. It's kind of rich, almost like buttery once you bite into it. I tried it without any sauce for the first bite.
Empress galbi, beef.
The next cut I'm trying is the galbi. I think this one can use a little flavor boost, so I am going to try with this sauce. That's wasabi, garlic. It looks like some pepper in there. So I do prefer the galbi with the steak sauce. It's a little bitter, kind of like vinegar, but there's also some garlic in there.
Last meat, Empress galbi. I'm going to cook at the charcoal. Empress galbi, lightly marinated one.
Now I'm trying the lightly marinated galbi. So I'm told they serve you this last when you order the combo because they don't want your tongue or your taste buds to get used to this flavor. So they give you the other ones first that are not marinated and then this one. Let's see if I prefer one over the other. Yangyom is the sauce that it's marinated in. This is my favorite of the three. I would say it's this, then the thinly sliced brisket, and then the other galbi. So they will not tell me what the recipe is, but I can tell there's soy sauce in there, but it's just very rich. When you bite into it, it kind of like coats your mouth. I can understand why they're serving this sogogi last. So I tried a few different cuts of meat, and I also tried a handful of different pancakes. Out of everything I tried, my favorite was definitely the marinated galbi. It was so rich. I liked the flavor. But the oyster pancake, which I was not expecting to be among my favorites, was my second favorite. The seafood one was good too. And I like how they have these frozen ice creams to go. All right, so Sean Kim was nice enough to sit with me. He is the second generation at Chosun Hwaro, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what does Chosun Hwaro mean?
Chosun literally means Korean barbecue. So Chosun is what Korea was called before it was called Korea. And then Hwaro literally means to burn on the meat. So it's literally Korean barbecue.
Okay, so I mentioned my favorites were the marinated galbi, the oyster pancake, and the seafood pancake.
Okay.
So I had no idea there was a Koreatown in this part of Maryland. What is unique about your restaurant?
Uniqueness with our restaurant is just the authenticity of it, how close to Korea it is without, being in Korea. Our food is straight from the source. Our chef is straight from Korea too. Our meats are probably they're on a different level than a lot of the other places around here too. We do the a la carte style. I know that the all-you-can-eat style is getting very popular nowadays, but we try the core salt, a la carte Korean style.
So what part of Korea are these recipes from? If it's not the whole country, is it from a certain area?
So our chef is actually from Daejeon. A lot of people just know Seoul of Korea just because it is the capital, but Daejeon is a little bit more south, closer to Busan area, I'd say.
I've been there.
Oh yeah, you've been there?
I've been to Busan, Seoul, and Incheon.
Oh wow, you've been everywhere then. Not Daejeon yet though. So.
Not Jeju, not
Yeah.
Jeju-do either.
Okay. But Daejeon, he's straight from Daejeon. Recipe straight from Korea, all from the Seoul. So.
Okay, so did you grow up in Maryland?
Oh yeah, straight Maryland all my life actually.
So how has this part of Ellicott City changed? Were there always, like, your whole life, have there been so many Korean businesses here?
So ever since I was young, I just remember my favorite foods were always in Ellicott City. So I begged my parents to come to Ellicott City all the time. There was only a couple Korean grocery stores. There was a Lotte and then the H Mart that formed later on. But I loved going there. Whenever they would go, I'd drag them out, get me a bowl of some black bean noodles too. But starting off, there weren't that many Korean restaurants. I'd say it's about just this one strip, which has, expanded into like at least 3 miles down the road now with over 150 Korean businesses too. So it's only growing now. So can't wait for what's to come next too.
And that's Baltimore Pike?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'm going to use the little Korean I know. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Okay. 안녕히 계세요.
안녕히 가세요.
Tous les jours is common in Koreatowns. This is a cafe, meaning it's bigger than a lot of other locations, especially some of the New York ones. So here's a little bit of history. And in summary, what you'll find here are East Asian takes on French classics, hence the name Tous les jours. So you got here Danish pastry, sesame donuts, red bean, almond pastry, Portuguese egg tarts, green tea croissants, red bean bread. So here you'll find seating in the back, and you'll also find private booths. Like here, you could hang out here if you have a group of 5 or more. They also have cakes which tend to be lighter than the European versions. And my favorites, they have macaron flavors that you sometimes can't even find in French bakeries. I love the salted caramel, which is a common one, but I also like birthday cake and blueberry lavender.
I'm going to go with the first thing I ever tried at Tous les jours, which is the chestnut pan bread.
Leave a comment, which one would you order? I think I'm going to go with the black sesame.
All right, my buzzer's going off. That means my black sesame latte is ready. Chanmaneyo. This is not quite what I was expecting. This is just black sesame powder and milk. So you can tell there's a decent amount of black sesame powder. I guess I was expecting like a coffee or tea latte, but this is what I got. It's certainly sweet enough. Now in the United States, Koreatown would not be Koreatown without H Mart. So let's go in and check this one out. As the sign says, it's open 365 days a year. This green papaya is what I buy to make my favorite salad. Sometimes it's the little things that count. like the coconut having a straw already inside. Leave a comment. I'm curious as to your opinion on durian. Also, pink pineapple is an emerging food trend. I tried it at a Thai restaurant in Brooklyn recently, and you're starting to see it in stores. And of course, there's a whole row dedicated to kimchi. That could probably feed a family for a month. You could also find whelk meat, conch, and other things that are not easy to find in many grocery stores. Every H Mart has a bakery, and in Ellicott City they have Juno, little seating area over to the side, and Hello Kitty toilet paper. Lotte Market is another grocery chain that you'll find in most Koreatowns. The ads for different local businesses are very common at these places. This squid pack is one of my favorites. Use it in my papaya salads. Here's another one of my favorites, especially for poke bowls. And if you're looking to splurge, here's some roe. And next to Lotte Plaza, how do you like this combo? Chicken and beer. Ellicott City seems to have every type of Korean food business. So this is a Korean snack bar. So it kind of looks like a cafe, and it's Ugane. So U is the family name. Gane, I believe, is place to eat. So I'm gonna try some different Korean, I don't know if I wanna call it street food, but maybe more like light bites. And even the snack food place gives us banchan. Kamsamnida. So this is a sampler of jumokbap. Now, bap means rice in Korean. So that's definitely the steak in the upper left, and then coming southeast, we have the crab meat. Maybe that's kimchi, and I think this is chicken, or in Korean, dakgogi. So this is the chicken or the dakgogi. So the chicken is just a tiny, tiny bit spicy, or meun. This is the beef one, or sogogi. And this is the squid. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit spicier than the sogogi or the dakgogi. The squid's a little bit spicier. Also has more flavor. I think I prefer the chicken. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Nuruji. So this is the crispy rice at the bottom of the pot. They brought this out as one of the banchan. That one's very crispy. It has a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of sweetness. Kamsamnida. This clear soup is kalguksu. The kalguksu is my clear favorite here. I liked trying the jumobap, but I have to say I love this noodle dish. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I had last time, but I like the seafood base. I love the noodles as well. They're wheat noodles. And I like how this one has a different mix of seafood. All right, so the gentleman next to me, Mr. Sue Park, he's really been my guide to all things Koreatown. So I would love to know from you, what is your position, and what is your relationship with Koreatown?
Well, I guess it goes back, like 2, 3 years ago, when we try to, establish and recognize this area as a mainland Koreatown. And at that time, I was one of the founding board members and try to help and bring all the communities together so that we can do the fundraising to establish a mainland Koreatown, which is something that's very unique throughout the whole United States.
Okay, so you picked the places that we went to. I know you're trying to give me a little bit of a variety. So the things that we're trying here, Korean snack food, street food. What do you have a favorite as far as Korean street food?
Well, everything, in terms of the street food, I love it. But, I guess if you were to ask me to pick one, I would probably pick the tteokbokki because that's something, what I grew up with back in Korea.
Okay.
And, that's what everybody likes.
Okay, so for somebody somebody like me who has never really heard of Ellicott City prior to this visit, what would you say somebody could expect if they want to just, let's say, come here for a weekend or just maybe, stop here? We're close to Baltimore and DC, even if you're just passing through here on the way to Baltimore and DC. What would you tell somebody to do here if they had just maybe one day?
If they have a one day, or it doesn't matter if they have just an hour, or, they can just stop by and enjoy all the, the rich Korean culture that's available in here. And that'll be good for your family and, everything in terms of the food or, the cultural experiences. It's all available in Ellicott City.
All right, well, 감사합니다.
All right, thank you.
Karaoke is not the only popular indoor activity in Maryland, Koreatown. So right now, I am at an indoor screen golf facility called JJ Golf, where you could play indoor golf, pick a different mode, and you could just kind of spend as much time here as you'd like hitting the ball. Now, if you're looking to try some fusion, there's a food hall just over the county line in Baltimore County called Beseto, Beijing, Seoul, Tokyo, and this place boasts that it's all in one place. And this kind of reminds me of a food hall that you would see in an H Mart, where you have a bunch of different vendors selling different things. And there is an H Mart not far from here, but this is a standalone food hall, which is connected to a store where people claim you can get anything you can get in Korea right here in Maryland. Here's something I was not expecting to see: Korean bedware. So this is imported sheets, beds, and other things from Korea. And what would any food hall be without a dessert bar? So here's a dessert bar, has stuff to go, and it also has one of my personal favorites, which are mochi donuts. Honey Pig Hot Pot and Barbecue is an all-you-can-eat place here in Ellicott City. So you have two options, really three. You could do hot pot or barbecue for $35, or for an additional $5, you can mix the two. I'm limited on my time here in Ellicott City, so I'm gonna mix the two and try to get the most out of my first Honey Pig experience. Sea bass, that makes me think of the movie Dumb and Dumber. Jim Carrey. This wouldn't be Maryland without crab.
Yeah,
And you wouldn't be in a Korean restaurant without the kimchi.
it's like the kimchi salad.
So these are all the different sauces. I'm counting about 14 here. Here, I feel like we got sambal. So we got Pan Asian, Thai chili, sambal, tom yum, peanut sauce. Some of my favorites here. What is Mickey sauce?
Mickey sauce is basically our honey pig garlic sauce with a little bit of the hot spicy added to it. The Mickey is our founder's name. Mickey Kim is the honey pig's founder. She created this sauce.
And if those aren't enough, you have more options in the corner. All right, I think I'm gonna go with some peanut sauce, the ponzu, and some orange. And as you can see, nobody is operating this. So this side goes on the grill. I like how they gave us lamb chops. And then this side right here is for the hot pot, in addition to what I choose. So I am going with the plain vegetable broth as opposed to the spicy or the pork. And I'm putting the vegetables in first. I'm gonna do my first round seafood and with some peanut sauce. We're off to a good start with the seafood, but now I want to try hot pot with some sogogi and some dakgogi and some of these ramen noodles. I'm going to do the sogogi ramen with some orange sauce. Close call, but I'm gonna say the steak with the ramen and the orange sauce is my favorite over the seafood and the ponzu sauce with the vegetables. I'm dipping this in sesame oil, salt, and pepper. I definitely preferred the Korean barbecue to the hot pot, and I would say the marinated bulgogi was my favorite. In general, when I'm doing Korean barbecue, I usually prefer to get the marinated meats as opposed to just grilling them plain and then dipping them in sauces. I've always found that having them already marinated, it really gives you some more flavor. And then you can use the sauce if you want, but you don't really have to. Even if you haven't been to Korea, you probably know that karaoke is a huge part of East Asian culture. So Soju House is connected to Honey Pig, and I want to show you what it looks like in there. So there's food in here as well. Soju House. I'm not sure who these two characters are, but they're pretty cute. And then here's the bar. Now, I hate to disappoint everyone, but you're not going to get to see me sing this episode. I just want to kind of show you one of the things you could do here in the evening to kind of get into the local vibe in this part of Ellicott City. So you get this huge remote, and you could pick different countries. Pop should be songs in English, but then you have China. You also have Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, and of course, Korea. Now, if you look at the backdrop, you might be able to tell that I'm here to try mochi donuts. This is Ellie Mochi, as in Ellicott City Mochi Donut. So it's the first place that opened in 2022, first place to sell mochi donuts in this city, and I'm trying injolmi, which is the most Korean thing that is here on the menu. I believe this is like a Korean soybean powder. So these are pretty sweet. They're a little bit different when they're warm. They're served at room temperature. There's definitely, like, you could see the coat of sugar on the outside. I also want to try the yuzu. I love citrus, so I have to say I'm partial to the yuzu. I also like the frosting on it as well, makes it a little bit sweeter. And not all mochi donuts are decorated like this. The mango has a dried mango on it. The French cafe has a biscuit. The salted caramel has little crunchy pieces on top. The matcha has a little, I believe that's a pocky stick. For me, no visit to a Koreatown is complete without a bingsu stop. So I'm at Shiru, which has bingsu among many other things. You can see behind me, they have several different kinds of soups. But I'm here for something sweet, which is the bingsu. Now this bingsu is layered, so if you don't get much flavor at the top, don't be afraid to mix it. There is some condensed milk at the bottom, which sweetens it a bit. So this is really good once you get it all mixed up. The mango's great, it's so sweet. But an interesting addition here, cornflakes. I don't know that it really adds anything to it, but the sweetness level is perfect. It's not too sweet. It's not like kind of plain like some bingsu or shaved ice could be at times. So this has really been a whirlwind trip through Maryland's Koreatown. This kind of reminds me of an even shorter version of the Chinatown trip I did in Houston a couple years ago. So, you know, in a very short 36-hour period, I had bingsu, I had Korean baked goods, I had mochi donuts, I had Korean barbecue, I had Korean street food, hot pot, and I'm probably missing something in there. I'm sorry if I did. Kamsahamnida, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe. I got more trips coming up soon. I'm heading down to DC from here. Also going to be heading down to Orlando, Florida, out to Portland, Oregon. I have a California trip in the works, and I'm also going to be doing my first trip to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much. I look forward to sharing more videos with you soon, and annyeong ige seo.